Let's get to the debate right now. The American people have the right to know. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Let's go, Joe.
Behind the scenes, the Biden campaign realized, I'm told several weeks ago, they knew they had to debate. A sitting president in, a strong position might try and hold off on this, but that is not where Joe Biden is. They realize that.
Trump and Biden have both accepted CNN's invitation to the debate stage on June 27 in the crucial battleground state of Georgia, as well as a debate in ABC studios on September 10th. It was just confirmed that this will be in studio and no audience present, supposedly to ensure that both candidates maximize the amount of time in the debate. This was actually on Biden's terms. Maybe Biden is afraid to debate in front of a crowd because he can barely draw one?
Hey.
There's just no comparison there. Trump also agreed to Biden's term that the microphones will be muted unless it's the speaker's turn. As much as I detest Biden, I do think that this is a fair request in order to prevent crosstalk. Because even though Trump dominated in that 2020 debate, it was messy.
He's the racist.
You just don't.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about this than he does.
Let him finish.
People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on. His own
this is a
FBI director
This
said
is a left-wing
white supremacy.
This is radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen,
In a respectful debate, I think the most important ground rule is to let your opponent finish. So even though Trump is right, in my opinion, 90% of the time, and that he will just absolutely wipe the floor just like he did in 2020, there are just times that he needs to learn some self-control and just keep his mouth shut. So I don't think that the microphone being muted is a bad thing, especially for Trump. But considering that this is a CNN debate, are they going to honor this rule so as to be fair and balanced to both sides? Will Biden and Trump's mics be muted equally or just Trump's? That remains to be seen. But there are times when Trump just spews a lot of unnecessary rhetoric. As another example, I just think it was totally unnecessary for him to badmouth RFK Jr. like the way that he did. He called him a radical leftist, a Democrat plant. He says that his views on vaccines are fake. Now, clearly the two disagree on a lot of things, especially when it comes to vaccines, but there are plenty of things that they do agree on. So Trump, I ask you, why do you need to bash someone who could be a valuable asset to you later on? This is just divisive rhetoric that doesn't help the conservative movement. It doesn't help people who would rather vote for RFK Jr. into your support base. You really should just keep it to yourself there. RFK Jr. just tweeted that he will meet the criteria to participate in this debate. I'm happy to report that I will meet the criteria to participate in the CNN debate before the June 20 deadline. I look forward to holding Presidents Biden and Trump accountable for their records in Atlanta on June 27 to give Americans the debate that they deserve. Now, even though CNN probably won't allow it, it'll certainly make this debate a lot more interesting. It would be even better if this could be hosted by a neutral, independent moderator like Joe Rogan, for which CNN can't even get a fraction of his viewership. Obviously, RFK doesn't have a chance of winning, independents never do, but recent polls have shown that RFK actually pulls more votes from Trump than he does from Biden. So unfortunately, RFK staying in the race could potentially lead to a Biden victory, and we don't want that. So the last thing that we need is Trump's divisive rhetoric against RFK that will just cause more people in the middle who should really vote for Trump and not waste their vote on RFK. Sometimes Trump just makes himself and his ego his own worst enemy. That is the only thing that I'm worried about in this upcoming debate. Trump just needs to stick with the facts and avoid the insults. Because the reality is, Biden's failed presidency speaks for itself.
They want to undo what they finally got done. And then what we finally got done is to make up for it. They want to give power back to Big Pharma.
Trump doesn't have to prove that. Matt Walsh and I are actually in agreement on this. Here's a clip of him on Timcast talking about this very thing.
The debate so clearly favors Trump that it shows you that the Biden team is desperate and they know they're in a lot of trouble and they need to pull something out of their hat. The interesting question is strategically for Trump, like there's two ways you could go about this. One is, okay, Trump, just go in there and be as normal as possible and just be normal and don't make the debate about you at all, because that was a mistake he made in 2020. But there's another approach, given the fact that Biden is half dead, which is try to fluster him, actually go after him hard and try to fluster him. I think Trump tried that in 2020, didn't really work. Maybe this time around, I don't know, it might be more successful.
Do you really think it was a mistake to make it about himself instead of the ideas? Because I think that is actually what got people to vote for him in 2016.
Well, 2016 is one thing, but 2020, I think it's generally accepted. Generally accepted things aren't always true, but in this case, I think it is true that the debates did not serve Trump well in 2020. Because he just came off a little bit too... The story became, oh, look, Trump is being belligerent.
Now, most likely Trump will just be Trump and nobody can control him. Unfortunately, that was the only thing that hurt him in his last debate. This time, there are so many things on Biden's side that are indefensible without lies. So Trump should just go based off of that. He doesn't need to add anything else. Foreign policy, the economy, the border, these are all issues that Biden has failed miserably on. Americans have been feeling the effects of these policies for the last 3 years. So when these topics come up in the debate, Biden is going to have a very hard time defending himself. Something that Trump called Biden out on in the last debate was how his family was profiting off of the illegal business dealings in the Ukraine and China. Even Jake Tapper, who will be one of the moderators for this debate along with Dana Bash, admitted that Trump was right.
And Kristen, Glenn Kessler from the Washington Post had a fact check about Joe Biden from earlier this month, noting that Hunter Biden admitted in court in July that he was in fact paid substantial sums from Chinese companies. Kessler wrote, Hunter Biden reported nearly $2.4 million in income in 2017 and $2.2 million in income in 2018, most of which came from Chinese or Ukrainian interests. But this directly goes against what Joe Biden said in the debate in 2020 with Donald Trump. Take a listen.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
Once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
So it's from two different debates, but I mean, Trump was right. I mean, he did make a fortune from China and Joe Biden was wrong. I don't know that he was lying about it. He might not have been told by Hunter, but this blind spot is a problem.
Let's see if Tapper can maintain that objective attitude for this debate. Now, we know that Trump is ready for this. He's been posting on Truth Social. He's showing that he's ready at his rallies.
Let's get to the debate right now. The American people have the right to know. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Let's go, Joe. Let's debate.
And here was Biden's response that came out today.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Did you notice the amount of jump cuts in that pathetic Clint Eastwood impression video? And we're only talking a 14-second clip here. Biden is just an absolute joke, and the only reason that the left voted for him in 2020 was not because they liked him, it was simply a vote against Trump. And that may have helped him back then, but it's not going to this time. New polls have shown that Trump is leading in all the key battleground states that Biden supposedly won in 2020.
Look, these Sunbelt battleground states, frankly, for the Joe Biden campaign, these numbers are an absolute disaster. The smallest lead is in Arizona for Donald Trump. He's up 6. Look at this, 9 in Georgia, 13 in Nevada. My goodness gracious, my God. That is a huge lead. No Democrat has lost that state since John Kerry lost it back in 2004.
The Biden campaign is scared to death, and I honestly believe that their agreement to a debate is their last-ditch effort to make him look good before the convention.
Behind the scenes, the Biden campaign realized, I'm told weeks ago, several weeks ago, they knew they had to debate. A sitting president in, a strong position might try and hold off on this, but that is not where Joe Biden is. They realize that.
President Trump is ready for any situation that comes at him, so I think he's going to be good. What I think is notable here, though, is, and I'm going to take a little bit of different tack than what Britt said, I don't think there's so much of a strategy from Joe Biden's side. I think his campaign, to be clear, does not want him to debate. They're terrified of this. But he went on Howard Stern. And he said he was going to debate. And you can imagine just the alarm bells going off in Wilmington, Delaware at campaign headquarters saying, oh, my God, what do you do now? Joe said he's going to go and debate. So they came up with a strategy, tried to put it out in the same day as this inflation numbers. But now, again, they're going to have Joe Biden on the stage. That's not good. That is not good for them at all.
And who knows, if Biden does terribly, which I'm sure he will again, they could very well swap him out before the nomination. Anything is possible. But for now, this debate is all they have left. If they have to pump Biden full of drugs, they'll do whatever it takes. But it's not going to work. Get your popcorn ready. That's all the time we have for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Inverted World, and I will see you all next time.
Hey, I didn't hear no bell. All right, that's right. Lift the jab. That's it, mentalize. See that bum in front of you.
We want to thank today's sponsor, Dr. Stella Emanuel. If you remember her from 2020 amid the pandemic, she went viral when she went on with America's frontline doctors, accurately purporting that social distancing and masking was nonsense, and shared her firsthand experience successfully treating patients with hydroxychloroquine. And what did they do? Smear her, of course. Well, she was right. Using the code FIGHTERS, you'll get 5% off any of her detox kits, COVID care, and more. Go to drstellamd.com for a list of all of her products, and don't forget to use the code FIGHTERS for a discount.